In my line of work, we talk about boundaries a lot, right? We know what they are, we know why they're important, we know how to set them with others. But in my early years, it was something that I really struggled with and I needed a lot of work and assistance with. And it's something that I had to learn from the inside out through practice and changing my core beliefs. So understanding, where I end and where another person begins and knowing what's mine and what's not mine was a game changer in my relationships. So today I want to talk about boundaries and 6 easy ways that you can communicate them. Knowing and holding our boundaries or our limits is really nothing less than an act of radical self acceptance because it's really a line that is drawn between where I end and other people begin, but yet they don't really separate us. They allow us to get closer. Healthy boundaries bring us closer. And it feels a little bit counterintuitive. But if you think about it like this, like the function of boundaries is similar to that of our immune system. Our cells can ward off germs or toxins or parasites. And it does that by recognizing what cells belong to us and what cells belong to a foreign body. What is the other? What is foreign? What is a threat? And when the immune system gets confused and it starts attacking its own cells, that's when we become ill. That's when we get autoimmune disorders. In the same way, the health of our relationship, it depends on knowing who we are and what is not ours to hold and honoring what is ours to hold. If we hold up really strong boundaries that are too walled off, we won't survive. And if we allow foreign bodies to walk all over us, we also won't survive. So knowing the difference between our feelings and the feelings of others is going to allow us to have so much clarity and action on so many communication tools that we find difficult when we don't have boundaries. Without good boundaries, we become exhausted, we become implicated in other people's problems. Plus, we're not really able to be loved for who we really are because it's not even clear who we really are. So healthy boundaries, on the other hand, they allow for balance between that intact sense of self and a deep connection with our loved ones. So the clearer your boundaries are, the more securely that you can connect with other people without fear of losing yourself. You can overlap shared values and you can live your life authentically. When we first learn to set boundaries, for those of us who learned later in life, like myself, it's easy to think of it as keeping people out or saying no or pushing people away, and it makes us feel guilty when we think about it. But the truth is that with really clear boundaries, you become more secure and you become more able to love freely without feeling like you're getting engulfed, and you're more generous as a result because you're more in control. So if you struggle with knowing and setting your boundaries, here are 6 easy ways that you can identify them, communicate them, and hold them. The most important one is the 6th one. So the first thing is you have to admit what your personal lines are. Just be honest. Don't judge yourself. If it's too much for you, it's too much for you. If you don't want to do it, it's okay to say that and admit that. The other thing is you want to trust your intuition. Listen to the gut of your deeper self and stop second guessing. This is the hardest part. You know what you know, trust it, and release what other people might say about it or judge it. The third thing is you really want to practice limit setting on small things. Pick something minor to practice saying no. Practice using that muscle and getting over your fear on small things, and then it will be easier for the big things. The fourth thing is you really want to spend time with people who are going to support your limits, not with people who are going to pressure us. When you start communicating and holding boundaries, some people might not like it and they will make you second guess. So surround yourself with supportive people. Number 5 is to listen to your body. Listen to what your body is telling you. If you have a tightness in your stomach or your chest, that can signal fear. Or if you notice that your heart is racing fast, something is going on and you need to listen to that and honor yourself. And finally, please know that just because you've communicated a boundary and you said this is okay or this is not okay, that you're probably going to have to still hold it. Communicating the boundary is not usually enough, right? You can say, this is what I'm going to say no to, or if you yell at me, here's an example. If you yell at me, I will give you one reminder, and then if you keep going, I will leave the room. That's communicating your boundary. But then what are you going to do when they actually do yell at you? You have to hold it. You have to stick to it. You have to remind them. And then when they keep going, you leave the room. And most of the time when you're learning how to communicate and practice boundaries, out of habit, people are going to cross them. It's just going to happen. So you almost have to embrace the idea that people will try to cross them and that the real work of holding boundaries is later on. You communicate it, but then how do you hold it? And so in order to answer that question, you have to ask yourself, what will I do or not do to hold my boundary? What will I stop doing? What will I withdraw from? What will I stop participating in? Or what will I do? Will I leave? Will I take another action? Like, you really have to think about that, because that's up to you. Other people are not responsible for holding our boundaries. We are responsible for knowing them, communicating them, and holding them. Don't take it personally when people who are habituated to crossing boundaries, or people who have lived in boundaryless ways, because that's how they were raised, are going to cross them. And they might not like it when you make these changes. They might make you feel like you're being selfish, or you might have some core beliefs that are really getting in the way of honoring those beliefs. But the healthy people in this world will support them. Even if initially they're like, what's going on? But in a healthy relationship, you can explain that. The more that I honor my boundaries, the more I honor my limits, the more that I respect myself and take care of myself, the more I have to give you. The better partner I can be, the better spouse I can be, the better friend I can be, the better sister I can be, the better daughter I can be, the better parent I can be. So make sure that you give yourself permission to have boundaries. And it's not something you're doing to someone else, it's something you're doing for them. Not only does holding boundaries make sure that you have more to give, that makes you more generous and allows you to be closer, but it also allows your partner, whoever you're close with, to grow. When we stop participating in certain things and we start holding those boundaries, they can't do the same dance with us anymore. And so they are going to have an opportunity to grow. And sometimes they won't grow in a certain direction until we hold that limit, right? So you're not doing it for them, you're doing it for you. But it helps to know, like, I'm actually supporting my loved one's growth by holding these boundaries. You get to incorporate that into the culture of your relationship. You get to model that for your children. And you get to give everyone in your life permission to follow suit, because you can model that it's actually okay. Like, you can be close and hold a boundary. It doesn't mean I'm rejecting you. It doesn't mean I don't love you. It doesn't mean that I can't be there for you at other times. It's just something I have to do for myself. And if you care about me, you would want that. You would want to be an ally for my highest and best interest. But sometimes we expect other people to treat us in a way that we're not willing to treat ourselves, or that we aren't going to honor ourselves, but we want them to honor us. And it really does start with us. I know you've probably heard this before, and it's kind of like a trite cliche, but it actually is so true and profound. When you actually start to communicate and hold your boundaries from the inside out, from a place of self-honoring, and also understanding other people might not like it, but giving them the grace to have their feelings without making that second guess your own boundaries, magic happens. It will massively up-level the relationships that have healthy potential, and the ones that don't have healthy potential will fall away. But that's a blessing, right? Especially if that's why you're listening to my channel, is to have a healthy, authentic, intimate relationship with your partner or with your spouse. Knowing where you end and they begin, knowing what's yours and what's not yours, and knowing what you can do to hold your own lines is everything. Without that, you can't even use half the tools that I teach. So let me know if you have any questions about this, and feel free to book a call if you want to have a little bit more of a deep dive around this and how it applies to your own relationship.